welcome to this advanced lesson published via mandomic.com. In the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to guide you through the tune called Swing 42, written by the great guitarist Django Reinhardt when he was part of the Hot Club of France with Stéphane Grappelli. This is one of my favourite ever tunes. It's great fun to play, both chords and melody, so we're going to look at both. We're going to start with the chords because the Hot Club, they had a really great rhythmic way of playing chords, sort of just about hanging on to the notes, but kind of 90% of it was rhythm and 10% of it was notes. And we can sort of replicate it on the mandolin, and it kind of sounds a bit like this. Sounds a bit like that. And we start by accepting that we have to change ever so slightly our sort of umchink rhythm. So normally the main chord progression for this, and don't forget, anything I say is on a free PDF which is linked below. But for the chord progression, I'm going to focus on the main chord progression, which is like a standard 1-6-2-5 jazz progression. So in this key it's C, A minor, D minor 7, G7, kind of repeated a few times. So first of all, you want all your chords to be closed. So we don't want any open strings. So you can't really, as soon as you start playing open strings, you kind of end up reverting to like our bluegrass origins of strumming chords. So we need closed chords. So the shapes I want you to play, and normally I say I don't mind what shapes you play, but I'm sort of suggesting a pattern to you. So we want this C, just 5-2-3, this A minor, 2-2-3, then D minor 7, I want this shape, which is like a 5-3-5 going on, and then to get from that, I did a whole lesson on this change, so please do look that up. To get from that D minor 7 to G7, just drop this second finger 1 fret and you get 4-3-5, and that's the G7. So that's our 4 chords: C, A minor, D minor 7, G7. Play that round, get that kind of ingrained in your fingers, because it's really important you can move between them dead quickly in this lesson. So as I started, if we were to play that in a bluegrass band, we would just go kind of like a strum, just an umchink, or even just the offbeat. Which is fine, but it doesn't quite give us the rhythmic attack that the Hot Club of France got. So I'm going to try and describe this the best way I can. It's more of a feel. It's kind of very bouncy. So we still have we still hit the bass note, and this chord progression is all about emphasizing those bass notes. So if I was to play it again, you can sort of really hear the bass notes. It's almost like I'm just playing the bass notes. So, first of all, you hit the bass, and then you do a quick strum, so it's like our normal, and then a very subtle ghost note on the open G string. Hear that? So, down, down, up. And all of these need to be short as well, so we're not holding that bass note down, we're not going, we're going. So you're kind of lifting the pressure off in your left hand as you hit it. And then you go to the next chord, so you hear that kind of G in between each one. It's quite an important note. It helps you create that kind of bounce. If I speed it up a little bit, I'm just going to loop the chord progression. So you try and playing it long and get the feel. up a bit. It's a very subtle ghost note. You don't hit it every time. Hopefully you're getting it by now. So the whole thing, you still sort of hear like an chink, but that just little ghost note in between makes all the difference and just gives you that, gives you kind of a bit of ammunition to make it nice and bouncy. Keep the notes really short, get that little ghost note in, and really emphasise those bass notes. You could get away with just playing the bass notes. In the B part to this tune, so the A part is all like that in C, and then in the B part he just modulates the whole thing up to E. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do the same shapes, just shifted a third down the fretboard to play it in E. So E, C sharp minor, F sharp minor 7, B7. And I know we're in E and G sharp shouldn't technically be there, but because it's a very subtle ghost note, that can still stay as like a ghost to E. Because it's so quick. You can kind of hear it going on underneath there. So that's how I want you to try and play the chords. And now let's have a little look at the melody. Before we start playing the melody, I'd just like to point out this is my version of the melody. I've slightly changed it. I've added a couple of slides and changed the odd note here just to make it sound a little nicer on the mandolin, and it's kind of my own take on it. So please don't message me saying I've put the notes down differently to the ones on Google Images. So my A part, I'll just play it for you. And then you can try and play along, because this is meant to be an advanced lesson, so I'm not going to go through it phrase by phrase, but this is how the A part sounds. So it'll be after 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a little up. Repeat. So that's my A part. A couple of things to watch out for in there is, so going into bar 4, I've got a little slide going from the 4th fret to the 5th fret, which is a little close up. Make sure you're getting your pick strokes right, so it's up, up. And then at the end of bar 4, a little very quick slide into the A or the 5th fret. Okay, so instead of just going, I go. So that whole phrase goes. And then the little crotchet triplet in the first time bar is basically, it's a 3-finger G chord, just moved down a fret to a G sharp, so it's like a G sharp arpeggio. So rather than try and play it with your little finger, I kind of just imagine just move the whole hand down 1 fret. So hopefully that's not too tricky. Loop back, play along with me and get that, and then let's have a little look at the B part. The B part's not too tricky. It's kind of the same phrase repeated 3 times and then a different 4th phrase. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, So it's 1 phrase repeated 3 times, which is, so the phrase is, again, make sure you're getting those pick strokes right, so it's down, up, down, up, 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 down. So there's a lot of upstrokes in that first bar, because it's all off the beat. And then again, the only tricky thing is just that little triplet. It's a little hammer on and pull off for me with my third finger. You see my right hand's not doing anything. And then this tune's kind of got like an A format, so it does an A part one more time to finish. So that's all the little individual bits I wanted to talk about. What we're going to do to finish this lesson is we're going to have like a virtual jam of it. So I will play the chords through first time round, and then once we've played it once through, I'll switch to playing the melody, and then depending on how it's going, we'll do that again. And you can do either. You can either play along with me until you know you've got it right, and then once you know your chords and you know your melody, do the opposite of me. So when I'm playing chords, you're playing the melody. When I'm playing the melody, you play the chords, and it's like we're having a little virtual jam of Django Reinhardt's great tune called Swing 42. The metronome's set to 80 BPM, so your chords are about this speed. Which may seem a little fast if you're just learning it, but you kind of need it a little bit on the quicker side so you can get that bounce going. And when you play the melody, that's about this speed. And yeah, so if that's a little too quick for you, if you press the little cog in the corner down here on YouTube, you can slow me down a little bit to suit the speed that you're currently learning this tune at. So as I said before, I'm going to play the chords first, A, B, A, and then I'll switch to do the melody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Onto the B part. 3, 4. A part again. Let's do one more swap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second time bar, B part, here we go to finish. So hopefully you were able to keep up with me on that one. I have purposefully recorded that on the quicker side, so you can really get that bounce going in the chords. Just slow me down until you get up to that speed. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning this tune. Please do play it with other people. It's such a great tune to play in a session, to improvise over, and just generally play. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you want any of the tabla music, it's all on the PDF that I've linked below. Make sure you hit subscribe if you've enjoyed this lesson, and we'll see you next month.